that everything takes a second. And I'm going to
I
post
feel
it.
like we need music when it does that.
I know.
Maybe some Sopranos music. Woke up this morning. You did watch She-Hulk, right?
I did. I did. We're just living in the
I,
Wong universe.
I feel that we should discuss She-Hulk at the end if we're going live tonight so that we don't do any spoilers for people who don't want them.
Yeah, I agree.
Hops News Agenda.
YouTube and Twitter. All right. Sent. Let me check. See if we're live on pages. We are. We are live on Twitter. And then I will
Well, in
start
that
in a
case,
second.
How do I find where you guys even are anymore?
Yeah, well, that's just your opinion, man. I don't think we're live on Facebook yet, so we'll give it another second. We're probably live on YouTube as well, but Twitter and YouTube, and just wait for Facebook to catch up at 6 o'clock any second now. But fuck it, let's run it.
YouTube's always a good one too. I've noticed on Twitter the comments don't stay on for a while, so it's like I never get a chance to respond to them. So if you want to be part of the conversation and you're on Twitter, I recommend heading over to YouTube, and I will pull up my YouTube so that I can respond to things. I'll be responding to things under Hobbs Geek, maybe, because that's what's signed into my phone.
Oh, that's what's signed into my phone too.
So there you go. All right.
All right. Let's do this thing. I'm going to kick off the intro in just a second. You have us up on YouTube. Facebook's not pulling up because Facebook sucks and Zuckerberg sucks with them.
YouTube or Facebook has been an issue lately. So that's what I'm going to start telling people, because I've always said, if you want to participate in the conversation, go to Facebook. But yeah, I'm going to start saying YouTube. I don't know. I look very grainy today.
Well, all
right, maybe, my light's off.
Oh, my Lanta. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. All right, I'm sending it. Let's hit this. Good to go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. As today's episode, we are doing a Geeks takeover event here on the Hops News pages, if I can get my correct terminology. We're going to be talking some really fun things today. So first, we're going to be talking some news, what we've been reading, watching. We're going to save She-Hulk for the end. And then we're going to talk some beer cameos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is always a really good time. And beer's been making cameos everywhere, but we're going to talk a little MCU and beer today. So first things first, hey, if you're wondering what Hops Geek News is, well, we are a podcast branched off of Hops News, where we talk comic books, movies, TV shows, and of course, who could forget, we talk beer. So that said, I am Matt. Again, if this is your first time ever, and alongside me is Lauren. And I am drinking on this episode from Definitive Brewing with a collaboration, Long Live Beer Works. It's actually a Confectionery Wizards, it is called. A 10% Imperial Stout with almonds, coconut, and chocolate. There's your can. Definitive out of Portland, Maine. Doing a little celebrating today, a little drinking. Football is back. If you're watching this right now live, if not, then football's still back, because guess what, baby? The NFL's kicking off, college is in swing, and I feel alive. I had some pumpkin cream cold brew today. I'm just thriving. Anyways, as I was saying, to find our geek stuff, just search Hops Geek News on all your favorite social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff, TikTok. And then, of course, search Hops News on all podcasting platforms. That's where you can find our normal episodes. Lauren, our intro is a little weird, out of whack today. My apologies. I'm trying to multitask. What are you drinking?
So you said we were doing high ABV beers tonight. So I busted out a Calusa beer, and this is actually pretty old. So the born on date is October 19th, 2017. And Calusa is one of my favorite breweries. They're in Sarasota, Florida. They make amazing everything. I especially love their hazies, which is what I'm usually drinking. But my
Yeah.
mom was very selfish and moved away from Sarasota.
Bro,
So I've
right?
lost my
How could
Calusa
she do
hookup.
that? I did notice that. She left and all of our Calusa
I
just
know.
disappeared.
Both my parents, my dad was my Jay Wakefield hookup, and they both moved to move closer to us. So
Oh,
selfish.
disgusting. Why would you
They'd
move
rather
closer
see
to
their
your
grandkids more
grandkids?
than bring me good beer.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Unbelievable.
priorities, you know. You think somebody has their priorities right. Well, it turns out they don't.
Think you know a guy.
Unreal.
But
That looks good as fuck.
this is delicious and fantastic, and it's been a while since I've gotten to use my Calusa Tiku, so
Yeah.
that makes me happy. But I had mentioned, if you were on here when we were still getting our shit together, we're going to talk a little bit of She-Hulk at the end because it just came out today, and this is a live show. If you don't want spoilers for it, then you can just bow out then. But I will just say this is a barrel-aged, sworn to the dark Imperial Stout at 12.9%. And all I will say is I'll explain my beer connection a little bit more later, but this has to do with Madison with one Y, two N's, and it's not where you, and two N's, one Y, and it's not where you think
sold
it
my
is.
soul to a demon.
So I'll leave that at that. So we'll go more into that a little later. Yeah, I actually did have some things.
Time
So
out.
if you,
Your
what?
dad will be at Calusa this weekend. Or not Rich. Sorry,
What?
Rich. Sorry, Rich.
I was like, this
I read it.
weekend. I was
Yeah,
like,
no, Rich
I'm
will be
supposed to meet
there.
up with
My
my dad
bad.
on Sunday.
My bad. All these men in your life. Jesus Christ.
Well, Rich is my stepdad.
I know.
So you were
I meant to
close.
say stepdad, but it came out dad. My apologies to all involved.
Well, in that case, Rich better be bringing back some loot. We need some
Rich,
booty.
what's up, BB?
Oh, I do love some Calusa. I really miss their beers. I didn't realize what a good supply my mom and Rich were keeping us in until they moved.
That's true.
You
know what I wanted to open
but
up
one
today?
of the
sorry. I was
Go ahead.
What I wanted to open up was one of the funky Buddhas that you gave me, and then that or the Cigar City. I have their cookies bomber that I've been sitting on, but I didn't, just for the fact that I didn't want to drink it all by myself just yet. I'm gonna save. I'm still saving those, probably for like this Christmas. I'll probably bust those open for our Secret Santa if we do that again.
That's a good one. Milk and cookies.
Yes, yeah.
I gave some of my beer to Josh. I don't know if he'll finish it.
Man, we're thriving.
So one of the things we do on the Geeks podcast is what did we fuck up on the week before? So we talked about my Flash beer. I didn't realize we had that in Nashville.
Oh, really?
And
yes,
the next thing,
I knew we had a couple prison pals while we were there, but they were thick, and then we also drank like 40 something beers in one night, so it was hard to remember.
And then the next day too.
Yes.
But yeah, that beer was absolutely fantastic. And the other thing, we kept going back and forth, or I kept going back and forth of whether or not I got a card when I built my lightsaber. And then I was looking through pictures, and there's a picture of me holding the card that I sent to you when I was getting my lightsaber done. So I did get a card.
That's right.
And I meant to weigh the hilt. I didn't weigh the hilt.
That was a really good video. It was really cool seeing because we both have different hilts and everything like that. And I keep forgetting to weigh my hilt too. I don't have it put up yet. Like I was talking to you pre-show, because I'm waiting till my son gets his room back. Maybe if we ever do that. I had to be a Karen this week and go on Twitter and complain to my insurance company.
Warranted.
The funny thing is, like, she calls me immediately, and then she was like, yeah, I got told you're trying to get a hold of me. Like, yeah, for 3 weeks. I sent you multiple emails and phone calls. My house, it's been torn up for 2 months. Let's get the chop. Anyways.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we are celebrating today, though, because I am an old man, and in my job I have to take a fitness test, and I got my first 90 in 6 years, which is pretty good, which means I don't have to do this for another year. So I'm celebrating today. NFL's back. I'm thriving. I'm living good. And you know what we have in 2 weeks from this weekend? 2 weeks from today. You know what's in 2 weeks from today?
Salt Lake. Fan
Lauren
X Salt Lake.
and I are going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah together, hanging out. My wife will be there, of course. Carrie, she's going to be there. But more importantly, we have press passes to FanX Comic-Con, where there are a ton of really, really insanely good guests. Like Grace Van Dyne has just been added. There's been the Cobra Kai kids are going to be there. Argyle's going to freaking be there from Stranger. Like, there are a lot of Stranger Things, Cobra Kai cast. Kevin frickin' Smith and the Clerks crew are going to be there.
I'm excited for that.
I am so excited. If I'm probably going to pay for a photo with Kevin Smith, because I don't know that we'll be able to interview him, but I'm going to talk to that man that weekend. That is my goal. I think he's only there one day. So like, I am going to talk to him that day somehow, some way. Gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. I am so stoked. And then it's also gonna be a really good time of year because it's gonna be in like the 60s, and we're gonna be drinking Starbucks pumpkin coffees and Comic Con. Sign me up. And then we're gonna have beers, of course, while we're there.
Yes, Epic Brewery I know is close to there.
Saltfire. I gotta take you to Saltfire because I think you'd like that one. And then there's a couple ones that I have jotted down from my last trip there that I think you're gonna enjoy. That I hope we get to go to after the con and stuff.
Yes, I have to definitely hit up Epic Brewing as well because I've had so many of their beers from you, and then Josh brought back some, and I've had them from Tabor, like when I did Tabor. So yeah, I'm excited. I've never been to a brewery in Utah. Last time I was in Utah was like, I don't know, 18 years ago. No,
back
Haley
when I was on the Mormon reservation.
Yeah, I had to join a club to order a glass of wine at a restaurant. And when I was trying to find wine at the grocery store, I went up and down every aisle. And finally, I asked an employee, "Where is your wine and beer aisle?" And he said, "Ha ha, welcome to Utah."
What? Yeah, I couldn't. The last time I was there, we went to Rooster Brewing Company, and we got there at 11 when they first opened, and they couldn't serve beer till 11:30. What kind of establishment is this?
That is weird. So why open then? Why not wait to open until
so like
11:30?
you can eat food until 11:30. You just couldn't order a beer until 11:30. I don't know. And then you can't buy beer to go more than 5%, or they can't sell you beer to go that's more than 5%. I don't know, man. Utah's so ass backwards. That's why their Great Salt Lake is drying up. That's not actually true, global warming, but why don't we go ahead?
No, it's because their beer laws are ass backwards.
Why don't we go ahead and we're going to go and do our segment of what we have been reading and what we have been watching lately. And I will tell you, I've had Paramount Plus, the streaming app, for about a week. I'm doing a free trial. And I've been watching a lot of Ink Master. Not good television, but Carrie and I love shit. Yeah, so we love shit TV. So we've been watching Ink Master. Like Dave Navarro is the host, and I can't get over how much he just looks like somebody's aunt who's also in a midlife crisis, thinking they've turned lesbian. I don't know. He looks like a lesbian aunt, and that's no offense to anybody out there before we get canceled here, but like every time I see him, I'm just like, Dave Navarro is the goofiest looking dude, but he does it. They canceled the show in 2020, and they just brought it back last night. And Joel Madden of Good Charlotte is actually
I figured it was old.
Well, it is. So it ran from 2012 to 2020, and there were 14 seasons. They canceled it in 2020 to shift focus when they got Paramount Plus, but they just brought it back as of last night, where Joel Madden of Good Charlotte is now the host. Dave Navarro still plays a part, but one of their hosts got caught being a bit of a racist, which not really a surprise if you've seen that guy. I think his name's Oliver or something like that. Yeah, way to taint the name. But so he got kicked off, and then I forget what the other guy's name. I don't know. It's just trash TV. So I've been watching that. And I'm going next weekend to actually get more work done on my Star Wars half sleeve on my leg. Finally, get some color added, hopefully. And I've watched, God, what else have I watched? She-Hulk, of course, which we're going to talk about here at the end of the episode. I watched this really, really awful romantic comedy on Netflix. It's like Villa something. It has the guy who actually plays the Gorilla Man. Like he's in Umbrella Academy. He's got the hairy arms.
Oh yeah. He's also from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He plays Rickard in Game of Thrones, and so he was the main love interest in this. And the girl, she's from Vampire Diaries and some other stuff, and she gets broken up with. She goes to Italy, still to Verona, ends up double booking the flat with homeboy here, and they. First of all, very
oh my gosh, and they inevitably end up. I bet nobody saw that one coming.
It starts off like she wants to get him.
They hate each other.
Well, they hate each other,
even though they're both incredibly attractive and single.
Yeah, exactly. And turns out that he was in an on again, off again relationship, and both are. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anybody out there who, the 2% of you who might watch this, but awful movie. But we watched it because you know that we would. And other than that, I am now in that time of year where I just lay on the couch and I watch football all day. I am, however, on Saturday, going to go do some goat yoga out at Sawtooth Winery. And I have no idea what to expect. But if those goats don't yell at me like the ones in Thor, I don't want to be there.
Have you seen the video of the goats? Like it's like let it go, and then the goat just starts yelling.
Yeah, from like Taylor, or wasn't it like the Taylor Swift version where there was like,
oh yeah, that was one
ah!
yeah. I heard that was like inspiration for the Ragnarok
sounds
of,
like
not
sounds about
Ragnarok,
right.
Love and Thunder,
Love and Thunder.
which that is on Disney
It
Plus as of
is.
today.
It is now as of
Um,
today on Disney Plus.
so I have read nothing the last week, and I have really much just watched Smallville. I am going through that show
Speaking of
so
trash
fast.
television,
It is so good and so bad and so cheesy and so action packed and so fun. It is ridiculous. There are times I'm literally laughing at the cheese. And then like sometimes the cheese is intentional. It's like, you had like your mini little Justice League thing. And Arthur Curry came back, and I didn't realize the kid they cast for Aquaman, because he was literally like the worst actor I've ever seen
he's from
like
This Is
perform
Us.
ever.
Oh no, I'm thinking Green Arrow. Sorry, never mind. The
No,
guy
he's
who
from
played-
Titans.
Yeah,
He plays
that's who
Hawk
it was.
in Titans.
He's Hawkman in Titans. Yes.
So the first time he showed up, and I love that he has on an orange tank top and green shorts, and Lois is literally making fun of him, and it's fantastic because those are the colors of his comic book character. And he goes to University of Miami, which I loved. That they even showed the little U on the website. That made me happy.
That's the peak of their
Um,
costumes, by the way. That's as close to comic book accurate as you get for these costumes.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that was
They're so
pretty
bad.
good. But his acting was horrendous. I'm like, this guy solely got picked because of his chest, because he doesn't have a shirt
Dude's
on most
buff.
of the time.
Of course he did.
But my cousin's like, "Oh, do you realize that's Hawk from Titans?" I'm like, "No way." And then he was so young, and then he came
He's also in
back a
Jack
few
Reacher.
seasons later. Yeah. So he came back and he was better already, and I could see like he's growing into his
My boy
facial
got some
features because he's
classes.
attractive, and
He's
he's
a
one of
beefcake.
my favorite characters on Titans. Like once he was gone, the show
good.
went
It
to
was really
shit.
sad when he died, and it was.
Oh, but it was so good.
was-
Spoilers
oh,
for
man,
Titans,
Beast-
but don't waste your time.
No, waste
Dude,
your
when they
time.
did that, it got so bad though after he went. But when he did that, I was like, wow, this show has balls. They actually did it, and it was such a good
The
scene,
show starts
and
really
such
well.
a you really
okay?
thought that they were, yeah, and then it just goes downhill.
They just can't do finales.
But there's the Easter eggs are amazing. Wonder Woman showed up. The dad is from Dukes of Hazzard, so they had the other Duke of
Oh,
Hazzard
yeah.
show up, and they're literally like racing cars. It's so funny. But it's just
peak television for the early 2000s.
Oh,
That's
Bizarro
CW
Superman
for
just
you.
showed
Yeah,
up.
Bizarro Superman's in it. Lex Luthor, all right. Michael
And,
Rosenbaum acts his ass off in that show, though.
Yeah, well, that's
He's
what
amazing.
got me into it was the podcast with him and Tom Welling called Talkville. So it's been
I didn't realize
fun.
that was the name.
Yeah. I guess there was a few other ones that they wanted to do that were already taken. But outside of House of Dragon, which is kicking ass, I'm enjoying that
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
I did
Matt
watch
Smith
that.
is doing an
I
amazing job.
Enjoyed the ending of this most recent episode. It was
Yes.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
pretty
too
good.
soon to do spoilers on a live show. But I will say next time I am hungover, instead of saying I'm hungover, I'm going to say the gods are punishing me for overindulging.
Yes,
That's going to be my new
yeah.
hangover line.
That's gonna be me on
I
Monday
love
after a day of watching football and eating junk food. I'm like, the gods have punished me for a night of overindulgence. And then there's some pictures that released of the next episode coming out, and Matt Smith gets a haircut, and he's kind of looking a lot better. And a lot of people are pissed off, like, oh, that's against the Geneva Convention. I'm like, my dear brother in Christ, you do realize Game of Thrones and House of Dragon is fictional, like. Oh, I watched Rings of Power. How could I forget that? Speaking of my dear brother in Christ, Rings of Power. I don't mean to cut you off. However,
I'm hearing mixed reviews. I mean, obviously
No,
I didn't
no.
watch it because I'm
Fuck-
not in
fuck
Lord of the
what you
Rings.
heard
but
about
the
me.
reviews are all over the place.
no,
Oh,
the show
okay.
is legitimately good, and it's getting review bombed. The problem is you have people now. There's so much toxicity in fandoms and so much toxicity in the realm of pop culture in general, where there's a sector of people that are now attacking Rings of Power because there is an African American male or a black male playing an elf. And again, this is all fictional characters. This is fiction. There aren't elves
What?
in real
It's
life.
not a documentary?
There are not elves, despite what Will Ferrell will have you thinking. There are not elves. And
Yes, there are.
so people are basically up in arms, doing a lot of racist bullshit, the typical just bullshit stuff, right? So there is a picture of Frodo, Merry and Pippin, Elijah Wood, Dominic Moynihan, and I always forget the other one's name, my bad. But they all have matching shirts. It's in Elvish, and it says, you are
All are welcome.
All are welcome. And you can buy this shirt and proceeds go towards like anti-bullying, anti-racist stuff. And it's just like, do you know how bad you had to be annoying to like get the three hobbits who are like the nicest human beings on earth by all accounts? Like I've never heard a bad thing about them by anybody. And they always go to Comic-Cons to coordinate outfits and shirts and be like, please just stop. It's just disgusting too. It's like, it's a TV show. Don't watch it if it bothers you. Why does everybody, I don't know. It's just so stupid.
It's like Michael Scott. You're just gonna be like, why are you the way that you are?
Yeah,
well,
but
all
like,
of the fantasy stuff. I mean, you have aliens and you
it's
have
not
different
even
like
real.
not humans, and yeah, it's all just such a
It's
mixture.
about
It's
a
like when you throw
wizard
in
who goes bad, who makes a
racism.
ring, kills a bunch of people, and takes over the land, and it's got the elves and shit. Like, it's not real.
Well, and there's hobbits.
It's
and
real to
there's
me.
the-
But Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Okay, so you want to do some geek news, and then we got quite a bit of
Yeah.
beer news.
I will lead us off. I'm going to lead us off right from the get-go. I'm going to steal both your geek news because you got all the beer news. Here's the deal. You like Teletubbies? You like creepy babies' face in the sun?
I like
I don't-
Titus.
Well, guess what? Teletubbies is being rebooted with Titus from the unstoppable Kimmy Schmidt. And yeah, so Teletubbies is coming back. To be honest, totally forgot it wasn't even a thing anymore. Didn't even know it stopped at any point, but they're coming back. Surprise. And so
My oldest watched it. The other two didn't because it vanished.
yeah, well, I guess that's
Tubby
right. I thought it was only
custard.
PBS or something. Oh, that just sounds
Yeah,
so
well,
Tubby custard.
when I was a young single mom, TBS
Come
or
here, get you
PBS
some
was the only
Tubby
free
custard.
channel we got. That's what it was, Tubby custard. And then they had the different ones, like would say different things, and one sounded like it was inappropriate.
Well, they were all creepy. Wasn't there like something with the purple
they go,
Teletubby at one point?
"Uh-oh."
I don't know.
Oh, the purple Teletubby had a purse, and he was purple, and so
Oh,
people are like,
people
"Oh,
are
that's
like,
the
"It's
gay
gay."
one." It's like you think back, and it's like this is a show literally designed for like barely toddlers, and like y'all are really like breaking it down.
Y'all are
that
really
much.
I don't
So,
know. People
all
are
right.
weird, man. I don't know. It's just like bronies. Y'all are weird. Anyways, some acolyte news from the
Brony.
upcoming Star Wars series. We got Ling Jung-jae from the Squid Game. He is joined as the lead male actor in Acolyte, which is going to be taking place kind of the High Republic timeline when the Sith kind of take over and it's supposed to be like a spy thriller. So that's going to be pretty dope. I'm fully on board with that. He's starring alongside Amdala Stenberg, who was in the recent movie Bodies, 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 and she was actually Rue from the Hunger Games. I didn't know that for the longest time. Couldn't even recognize her. But R.I.P. Rue.
Oh, 'cause she was little.
She was. She was
Oh,
a
and,
kid.
and Huey from The Boys killed her, didn't he?
Was that Huey? He was in that movie?
Yeah, he was in that
What?
movie. Jack Quaid, yeah.
Wow.
Here, you can move on to your news, and I'll
All right. Well, you fact check that. Moving on, Clerks 3 has debuted at 69%. Nice. As the Kevin Smith Clerks 3 Roadshow has kicked off, and by all accounts, the reviews are coming in are really good. It comes out in theaters. The fandom events start in about 5 days. So that's pretty dope. I can't wait to go see that. And speaking of Kevin Smith, he is going to be doing a sequel to Tusk called Tusks. And I know a lot of people found it creepy. I personally enjoyed the movie Tusk. Oh my God, I forgot it. Justin Long is going to be he was made into a walrus. That's what I was trying to say. Jesus God. And so, yeah, it's going to be out there. Pretty exciting. And aside from that, in honor of Disney Plus Day, current and new subscribers will get a month for $2. And then Wally will
There's
be
some cruise thing too, and their website crashed.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. I don't know. Wally will
There was
be
supposedly a discount on Disney cruises today, but of course, as soon as you went to the website, it crashed.
Oh.
All right, go to Wally.
Okay, Wally is going to be the first Pixar film to join the Criterion Collection. I don't think I've ever really seen that movie, to be honest with you.
It's good. It's slower than all the other Pixar movies though.
Huh.
And it's it's good.
Interesting. Well, aside from that, Black Adam has a new trailer released, and to be honest with you, I'm fully on board with I'm on board with this. This looks sick. This is going to be a sick, sick, sick movie. I'm back on the DC train, baby. Back on the DC train, for better or for worse.
I want to give you shit, but I've been watching nothing but Superman for the last month. So
get in on it. So yeah, that's all I
it's
have
funny
for
though
geek
to see all the
news.
cameos of different people. Yes, it was Jack Quaid played Marvel in the Hunger Games, and he was aiming for Katniss, and he shot Rue. So, damn you, Huey.
Damn it.
So before we go into beer news, we can actually do the beer cameos in the MCU. So then we'll go geek, beer. So
Okay.
we're flowing into it. So just a couple things. Matt and I have talked about we're going to be doing a MCU rewatch, which I'm very excited to do, especially after watching She-Hulk and all these cameos and all these things coming up. I'm looking forward to rewatching all of the movies in the proper order. And I'm going to be taking beer notes. If there are any more beer things, I'm going to start doing that. And another thing that might be fun is we're going to start coming up with the perfect beer to pair with each movie when we do it. So that'll be available to our patrons. Awesome. Patrons, whatever they're called, no matter what level you are. So Thor, I did not know what a boiler makes, and obviously Dr. Eric Selvig and Thor make their ancestors proud, and they order some boiler makers, and it is just a beer and a shot of whiskey. I didn't know what it was that they dropped in there, so I Googled it. If you caught She-Hulk today, this is not a spoiler for the show. There was a D-bag guy in the show, and he is drinking a Lagunitas IPA. Endgame. So this is the big one. A lot of people who heard this, I thought this was really cool. So there was more to the story. If you have heard that Thor was drinking a craft beer from Creature Comforts in Athens, Georgia, there is a lot more to that and how that happened. It wasn't just hey, here's a beer can, let's just throw this in. So before the movie even came out at the D23 Expo, Joe Russo, while he was standing right next to Iron Man and Hulk, was actually wearing a T-shirt for their Tropicalia IPA. The Russo brothers are both fans of the beer, and the brewery had hooked them up with some swag, but they were very surprised to see them on stage at D23 wearing their shirt. Nice. Now, at the beginning of Endgame, you can see Thor drinking an Athena from their brewery, which is a Berliner Weiss. And then after the time jump, you actually see he's drinking, when he looks like he's half asleep with his hand almost like Al Bundy style. It's a Tropicalia IPA. So it makes me wonder, remember when Rocket's trying to get Thor on the ship and he goes, there's beer on the ship, and Thor says, what kind?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Creature Comforts? And that's how he got him on the ship, because he was drinking Creature Comforts 5 years before when, because the movie starts at when he's still fit and everything and Captain Marvel shows up. So how fun is that? So if it weren't for Creature Comforts, maybe the world wouldn't have been saved. Okay, so how did this all happen to begin with? So the Roosters realized that Tropic PA had become ridiculously popular set because they do film in Georgia. The CEO of the brewery even said that people working on the movie set would meet the brewery truck at the local beer store to get the beer because the brewery is not right next to where they film. It's a little bit of ways. And so the Russo brothers knew they were going to need more beer, or they were going to need beer in some of the upcoming scenes, so they reached out to the brewery. The brewery basically, they had an interview with them, similar to how when we have breweries on, they told them their story, what they're all about. Obviously, it's always more than just beer. And they told them about a lot of the philanthropy they do as well. And so Marvel was like, oh, okay. And then left it at that. And then a little bit later, they're like, hey, can you send us some swag and some beer? Right. We're not sure what we're going to do with it yet, but we're not going to paint your beer in a negative light at all. So they're like, yeah, sure. And then Endgame came out the weekend of the brewery's 5-year anniversary. Yeah. And so in Athens, there was an independent movie theater, which they feature indie art and films like that. And they actually got Endgame because they heard Creature Comforts was going to be in it. Oh, wow. And so they bought the screenings for some of their employees, and they said everybody in the theater cheered when they saw the Athena can and the Tropicalia can. And I did not notice this, and I tried to Google it, but apparently there is a point where Thor is wearing one of the Tropicalia t-shirts under a sweater, and it says you blink and you miss it. I looked on everything, and I could not find that.
I never saw that either. That's interesting.
So I'm not sure. My only other piece of MCU beer stuff. Oh, I have 2 more MCU things. So Falcon and Winter Soldier, Bucky's. I'm a liar.
By the way, because I said I have one. I hope you're running the comment section because I have football on. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh,
For
I will
anybody
try
who's
my
watching
best.
live, I have moved on to football, so I will not see your comments. I apologize.
So it's all me now.
The Rams and Bills are on.
All right. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Bucky's drinking tiger beer on his date. I think it's in the first episode. So after that episode, the brewery actually uploaded a cheeky little reference on their Facebook and Instagram that said tiger beer bottle with the
Tiger beer.
caption. Well, they had a picture of the tiger beer bottle and the caption said, "Here's to you, soldier." And then it said, "Every superhero deserves a tiger." And they tagged Marvel Studios and they tagged Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's awesome.
And then my beer is also credited for bringing us the best Spider-Man movie ever, bringing to life the three
Spider-Man
Spider-Men
3?
pointing at each other. Yes, for giving us Bully
Spider-Man
Maguire.
3 and
No.
Bully Maguire.
So, beer helped get the infamous three Spider-Men pointing at each other to actually happen. Kind of. While at D23, Tom Holland sent an email to the then CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, thanking him for the opportunity to play Spider-Man, as this was when we all thought Spidey was done in the MCU. Iger replied, which Holland then asked, like, "Hey, when you get a chance, if you could call me, please call me." Well, Iger did, and he just happened to catch Holland while he was playing trivia at a pub and was a couple pints in.
That's
Thanks
what I'm
to the
talking
liquid
about.
courage, Holland pleaded for Iger to repair the damage with Sony. He told this story on Jimmy Kimmel if you want the whole thing. Holland said, quote, "I wept. I was really emotional because I felt like it was all coming to an end," end quote.
Huh.
I love that.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Beer.
All
So
right,
like
there's-
even the MCU has beer, which is awesome. I love these mediums and these platforms kind of diving into like the beer movement and stuff like that, because it used to be kind of like taboo, or they would drink the most generic beer, but now it's like craft beer is a big thing. Let's go.
So my mom said Malekith looks like an evil Teletubby. She's not wrong. He does.
He does. He does. I don't know why. Interesting.
No tubbies. Somebody said, "Ugh, no tubbies."
No, that's probably my mom.
Oh, that's funny.
My mom was on there.
Um,
Shout out. Look at you.
All right, so shall we move on to beer news?
Yeah. Hit us. Where's the beer?
Well, if you want to jump on here, you can take some of these
Where
too.
the
So
hell is
there's
it
quite a
at?
bit in here. In the Hops News doc.
Oh, I got to go back. I was in the Geeks doc. God.
Hops News agenda. So I'll start. Women brewers from both sides of the United States-Mexican border have come together to create Las Hermanas, which means the sisters. It's a pale IPA with hints of citrus. The people behind the all-female craft beer collaboration across the border gathered together to brew their first batch in Tucson, Arizona. The principal aim of this binational program is to support and foster participation of women in the production of craft beer, which is still largely dominated by men. The two breweries participating are Borderlands Brewing in Tucson and Cerveceria Macaria in Mexico. Proceeds of the sale of the beer will actually go towards training that will allow members of the group to be certified as brewers. So that's cool. My next piece of news. Habitat for Humanity in York County is bringing back its Hops for Habitat program to help raise $60,000 to complete a home project. The organization has partnered with Portside Real Estate and 11 different craft breweries. And this is in Maine. So if you're in Maine, you can actually help by drinking beer. For $50, you can buy a beer passport, which gives you access to free draft beer at all of the participating breweries. This is going to be now through October. And the breweries are as definitive as in their Woodland, Blaze, and a few more in that area.
Nice.
So, yeah, if you're in Maine, I would check out Hops for Habitat and see what, for $50, you can easily drink that much beer. Just make sure you still tip your beer tenders. So who's drinking craft cocktails? Who's jumped on that bandwagon? I don't think that's the bandwagon I'm going to jump on. It seems like a dangerous one. But Heavy Seas Brewing has jumped on it. They will now be selling craft cocktails. They distribute pretty widely, so I'm not sure how far they'll distribute those, but that's coming. Upland Brewing. So this is pretty cool. We're seeing more of this. I feel like every week I have more news here about different colleges, football programs that are partnering with local breweries. So Upland Brewing Company is now the exclusive craft beer sponsor for Indiana University. Which
you've been
I
seeing
find
a lot
interesting.
of craft beer popping up at like football, college, hockey, all that stuff, they've
Yeah.
had a lot of craft beer popping up lately, which is kind of dope.
Yeah, and it's interesting because years ago, Jay Wakefield did Turnover Chain,
Oh,
and
boo,
they
Miami.
so the original can, which I think I actually have it here. They did not sell it, but they gave it to some people, and my dad was able to grab one and give it to me, and it actually had the Turnover Chain on it. And then they decided, okay, we're not going to distribute these. Look at that, he's doing the U. For those who can't see, he just did the U. They changed it to just a chain because they're like, oh, well, this is a college. Not everybody in college
Said
can
you
drink. We don't
just
want to.
chain. Ooh.
So yeah. You want to do? Are you in the
Yes,
dock?
I am. I'm here. Welcome.
All right, you want to take us over at Shiner, and I'm going to find my turnover chain can.
Shine on. Yeah, so Warner Brothers and McKellar have joined forces to make a beer series for HBO's House of Dragon. Cyrix Rises, an India Pale Ale coming in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, folks. That's ABV. A true conqueror of taste buds. A light-bodied American IPA bursting at the seams with noted notes of candied fruits and citrus before soaring off and finishing on a delicately bitter note that is reminiscent of an orange pith and juicy grapefruit. A beer straddling the divide between the classic West Coast IPA, I can speak, I promise you, and the modern hazy IPA. And then we also have Cyrix, the Session IPA, which is 3.5%. And for this light, bright, and high-flying Session IPA, McKellar has used Styrian Dragon hops. This imparts some earthy, spicy notes, and particularly a grapefruit-like citrus balance atop a light foundation from the low ABV. It's ideal to drink while soaking up the sun. Session IPAs are really good. Like, again, if you're sitting outside soaking up the sun, hot day. I've seen people drink them while playing softball and stuff. So get your hands on some of that Rec League by Harpoon. Anyways, Carixis, I don't know if I said that right, but it's a non-alcoholic dragon fruit ale that's 0.3%. And this is for the wonderful alcohol-free beer that McKellar looks to do. It's a cider-like based beer. They have fresh dragon fruit, and the delicate foundation is topped off with notes of pear and kiwi from the dragon fruit, leading to an exotic, thirst-quenching beer. All of this can be found at halftimebeverage.com. So that's really cool.
I think Ian got it on Tavor too. So if you have Tavor,
really?
it's probably on there.
We'll have to go
Yeah, I haven't picked up Mickler in a while because of all the drama that went down with them.
Yeah, there was a lot that went down, and so I just honestly stayed away.
Yeah, it was just hard not to report that news because it's beer and geek.
I mean, House of Dragon. I saw somebody post on Twitter. There's a Lord of the Rings beer. It's a hazy IPA, and I think it's out in Philadelphia. So I think it was Red Fox that did it, and I want to get my hands on that shit too.
Oh, Tactical is dropping their Bob.
Oh yeah, are you doing that tomorrow?
I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to have time. But their beer, so when they used to release cans, like they would sell out pretty quick, especially because their beer is amazing and their can art is amazing. So it's like when you have the two of those.
It's the Bob Ross,
But I
right?
think during COVID, I'm not sure. I think they got a bigger canning system. So now their cans don't sell out right away.
Oh,
I think that was also when everybody wasn't in the office on Fridays.
Well, everybody was just drinking all day. So
yeah. Because they used to open, or they only open at noon on the weekday on Friday. And so that's when they usually do their can releases. And so I remember during COVID going at noon and there was like a line. And now you walk in there at noon and,
I think
you can
try, a lot of it
try the beer first and everything.
A lot of it too is like people, if it's been around long enough, people still will run to it, but maybe not as fast. I don't know.
Well, they're even like the Bob Ross one. I don't think they've done this one before. The label doesn't look familiar, but anytime you go to Tactical, they always have Bob Ross on, and they have That's like hilarious. On one side of their bar, I don't remember what it's on top of. It's on top of a beer fridge or something. A whole bunch of Bob Ross like Funkos, and like there's like a Deadpool Bob Ross, and I'll have to take a picture of it next time I'm there. But that brewery, so it's not like every time I go there, they have more artwork. So the guy who does their artwork is called Sleds, just SLEDS. And he started doing murals at the brewery. So when they first moved in, it was basically just white with some, pieces of art framed. But even the art, though, because, it's veteran owned, there's like one art piece that looks like a couple guys like in a battlefield, but then there's TIE fighters above them. So they have pieces of art like
Yep.
that. And Matt, you did give me that patch, and it's at
I
the
did.
very
You
top,
sent me the
like in
picture.
the
Yeah.
middle. And so I thought that was really cool because the time I was there before, they hadn't put it up yet. So I was like, oh, I
Oh,
hope
nice.
it didn't get lost and whatever. So I was really happy to see that up there. So if you are in vets, get discounts, well, and active military. And if you have a patch, they'll hang it up. I mean, their wall there's so many
They have
more
a lot.
patches, I
Yeah.
think, than when you were there. Yeah. So it's very subtle geek. It's not like obvious. Like if you go to Hourglass Brewing in Longwood, it is like there's a fake TARDIS and there's toys
Mm.
everywhere. Like it's very in your. But this is like there's just the artist guy is just amazing, and they
They have
really
really good
need to
art.
make
Yeah.
that. Yeah, It's Untapped with Admiral Akbar. They have that mural up too, but they haven't sold any
Ooh.
swag. They need to sell swag. So
Oh
point
God.
of my story
Yeah.
is go to
Go.
Tactical.
Speaking of really good, great breweries, Allagash has actually agreed to purchase a 7+ acre of land in Scarborough, Maine, to develop and build a new custom designed tasting room that should open in the year 2024. The land is located as part of the Downs, which is an area right off of I-95, which is actually a 15-minute drive from the brewery. If you haven't been up there, beautiful country, especially this time of year. The leaves have changed. Oh my God, this is the time of year. If you're going up
Already?
to this is about the time of year where the leaves are really changing and everything. Yeah, it's
Wow,
this
it was
time,
100
especially the
yesterday.
further north you get. It was 100 here yesterday too. So, but yeah,
Mm.
this time of year, the leaves are changing. It is beautiful. I cannot wait to go back home. It is such a beautiful area, and so I highly recommend just getting out there. So, the last bit I have, yeah, that's it. I don't know what the rest
No,
of that was. What is this? 16 or 12 ounce cans? I don't know what that is.
So an article came out that I thought would be fun to talk about. It was all about why craft beer has 16-ounce cans as opposed to 12-ounce cans.
Oh, okay.
So kind of wanted to gauge preference as when you're drinking craft beer, do you prefer 16 or do you prefer 12? I
16.
somewhat
It's
miss the
depending on
12
my
ounce
mood.
sometimes. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But like my husband and I usually, Josh and I will just split a 16-ounce can, and then, but that, 8 ounces is like
Then
not
it's not
enough.
enough. Yeah, 12 ounces. That's right. That's a good point. Because sometimes I'm like, I want some beer. I don't want the whole can. Like, I don't want the whole 16. But sometimes it's like a nice 12 ounce is a good thirst quencher.
Right now I have a bomber, but
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
tonight was speaking of, oh, here's a bottle. Let's go.
I know 16 ounces is too much.
16 ounces too much as I pull out my 24-ounce bomber at
I need 22
13%.
ounces, yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I don't have to drive.
But the article I read it was
Ba-dum.
on I don't know what it was on. I can put the craftbeerchannel.com. I'll put the
Cool.
link in the Facebook. So anyways, some of the reasons they gave was 4 packs of 16-ounce cans and 6 packs of 12-ounce cans actually cost about the same to the brewery.
Oh, wow.
And so the benefit of it is as soon as you see a 16-ounce can, you generally assume that it's craft. So it tends to be unique to craft. It stands out
That's a good
more.
point.
Craft breweries are also more likely to put more information on their cans, whether it's not just the ingredients, but they're also going to put where the beer was brewed, if it's a collab, if it's what the ABV is, what hops were used, all of that. So, and also the artwork, a lot of these breweries, and I think, the whole beer influencer scene, like, would we have beer influencers if we didn't have as many, I should say, if we didn't have pretty
beer influencers
cans?
are the worst. But yet then I realized I'm like,
sounded like
we're
a
kind
double
of beer influencers too. But they're also like the people who.
I like to call myself a beer enthusiast.
But see, here's the thing: is we don't
No,
go
I've met
looking
some
for
amazing
free
beer
shit,
influencers.
and I don't know. That's a whole other topic.
Well, and the people I've met are not looking for free shit either. And I feel like the free shit, when it does come your way, they're doing stuff for it. And I've also met some that are like, well, I'm not going to promote something I don't like, even if they give it to me for free. And I have talked to some of them that have been like, oh, I turned that down and said, no, it's not worth it. Did you just spill beer all over yourself?
I got a drop. It's a drop, the tiniest drop on this $80 Marvel.
But you're
shirt.
wearing a white shirt.
Oh no!
You like rip your shirt off and go soak it in club soda or whatever you use to
I
get
gotta
out
wrap
stains.
this podcast up. I got the tiniest dot. Oh God!
That is a very white shirt.
I need a straw.
Very white
it's
shirt.
my Marvel shirt from Disney.
Oh, so it's a Spirit jersey.
It is. It's freaking comfortable as hell too.
So who could have made 16-ounce craft cans popular?
I don't
Who
know.
could have ever done that?
Hetty Topper.
When you think
Just a
of
blind
the
guess.
original, well, you can see the document.
Oh.
When you think, you ruined it. When you think the original 16-ounce craft can, who made drinking out of a can popular?
Samuel Adams, back in 1793 when he defeated the British at the Battle of
At the Boston
Hetty
Tea Party.
Topper.
At the Battle of Hetty Topper. All right, so there you go. New Realm in Atlanta is right by Georgia Tech, and this is another one. They've announced a multi-year partnership that makes New Realm the official craft beer of Georgia Tech athletics. I'm all for it. I mean, think about it. A lot of people that are going to these games are alumni anyways.
Yeah, that's
They can
true.
drink. New Trail Brewing out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, now has a year-round West Coast IPA that will donate funds directly to planting new trees for every can and draft pint sold.
That's pretty cool.
Here's another sports one. I should have combined all these. I didn't realize I had so many. Oklahoma State University has teamed up with Iron Monk Brewing to have a special beer for football season called 1890 Original, which is named after the year the university was founded. All right, so Jay Wakefield really does need to team up with UM. And for those of you who didn't notice, and I saw my brother said it's all about the U because it is all about the U.
No, it's not.
And
They
there's
haven't
their
been
little
relevant since like 96.
Since 2001, asshole. They didn't win in 96.
Same thing.
They should have won in 2002. That was a bad call, and Ohio State stole it. But yeah, so this is the can that they did not sell. You can see it's like open and everything, but
Whack.
it's super cool. They should do that.
Crazy.
Hey, there was a song though. Turnover chain, turnover chain.
I do have actually news real quick on the bottle share front.
Okay.
They have teamed up with
Go for
frontporchdrinking.com, and there's now a mental health fund for bottle share. So there you can get grants and things like that based off of, mental health needs and things of that nature, which is a really, really cool initiative that they have started. That's kind of the breaking, not really breaking, but there is a beer coming out in partnership with New Realm, speaking of them, called Victory in Valhalla. So that's going to be a collab coming out soon between Bottle Share and New Realm.
I want that. That sounds amazing.
Surprise!
I hope you can get us that.
Yeah.
Well, because Valhalla. Oh, and I think I said it earlier. Thor: Love and Thunder is on Disney Plus as of today, and so is the making of Thor: Love and Thunder.
I got to get with Chris, and I will be doing the press release, by the way. So you might recognize a little Boa's name when I'm writing that press release when that comes out.
So you can hook me up with that Valhalla?
Shit, tell Jay to hook us up. He works there.
No, I did. Yeah, I think we said something to Jay before. Micah commented in the Facebook page that D23 is already putting out some of their announcements. I thought that wasn't.
I saw a list
Saturday.
of leaks. No, it starts tomorrow. So tomorrow's the video games. Saturday is the Star Wars and Marvel MCU panel. Saturday.
Okay. I don't want to sound like I
Disney
don't deserve
Plus
to be on
Day,
this
so
podcast.
they might have
but I
some
don't care about
things.
video games. I'm gonna try to book a cruise after here. Josh, are you watching?
Actually,
okay.
Sign me up if they're percentage off. Carrie has always wanted to take a cruise. Might as well.
I said something about getting the second and third person for free. So anytime Disney does anything that is like time sensitive and is going to sell out, their whole freaking system crashes. It's the same, like the last run I signed up for, because I'm doing the run in January, and it the site kept crashing, and they were supposed to sell at 9 a.m. and it didn't work until 1 p.m. Oof. It's like the app is always messing up too. It's like,
what is going on over there? That's like this week. Shipyard did a sweepstakes, and their their site crashed right away for the sweepstakes, and
they probably weren't expecting that. Disney.
That's true. Disney, you should know better. Look at all that money the mouse has.
They've said the amount of people that are using the app at once is just impossible to manage sometimes, but at the same time, you're Disney. Get it together. All right.
Well, let's move on.
Bell's has started a giving program where they will donate $1 for every barrel of beer sold to a nonprofit, primarily ones that promote sustainability and the environment. They are now owned by Corinne, but this is what you like to see when these big breweries sell, is that they're still doing the things that we want or that we expect of the craft breweries that make the craft breweries special. So as long as they're still producing good beer and doing good, then we're not going to give you as much shit for selling out.
That's true.
It's when Lagunitas I feel like they went downhill after they sold.
Yeah, they kind of did. I agree. Definitely agree.
Oh.
Speaking of Cisco, next one, Cisco Brewing's right outside of my old where I used to
Oh
work.
yeah, you take this one.
Okay,
This
well,
is all you, New
Nantucket-born
England.
brewery Cisco has partnered with the New England Patriots, boo, to launch a new beer ahead of the 2022 football season. Forever New England Game Day IPA is the first professional sports partnership for the brewery. Fun fact, you're going to now have to get drunk to watch the New England Patriots because Tom Brady is gone and they will go back to mediocrity and suck. So take that, Patriots fans. Boo. Anyways.
Not everybody can be the
It's
Miami
a-
Dolphins, the greatest football team.
That's
That's what the song says, so it has to be true. Oh, Vasa Sir just actually announced that they're doing a Dolphins beer and it has the Miami Dolphins logo on it. But Vasa Sir is a brewery in Miami, but it was opened by InBev.
Oh,
But
whack.
it's a blonde ale.
Huh.
Yeah, they tricked me. Fool me once.
Well, they got your ass. All right. So we can get to She-Hulk. Let's wrap up some of this.
Wait, Angry Chair in Tampa is now much bigger and more beautiful. However, our sticker did make the move because it's on their refrigerator that they took. Their new location is 4101 North Florida Avenue. They have not begun brewing there yet, but they are pouring beer there that they brewed in the last location.
Yeah.
And my last piece of news is when Maui Brewing's acquisition of Modern Times Beer closes in late October, the newly formed parent company will be called Craft Ohana.
What?
We all know what Ohana means.
Family.
As we combine these two, this is a quote from the article. As we combine these two well-respected and innovative breweries, we recognize that it is not our ambition to have two separate entities owned by a common parent company, but rather two brands operating as one company with operations in multiple states, hence Ohana. And that is what the CEO of Maui Brewing said in a press release.
Ah.
So there you
She
go, because
likes
they did
family,
buy
You know who else likes family?
Modern Times.
Dom
She-Hulk?
Toretto. Dominic Toretto, man. Fast and Furious.
Oh,
Get it together.
the second worst ride at Universal.
But like the best action movies of all time. You want to talk She-Hulk?
Sure, let's talk some She-Hulk.
Let's spoil the F-U-C-K out of She-Hulk in 3, 2, 1. Madison, spelled with 2 N. Blaze, not to be confused with Johnny Blaze, to court.
I've jumped out of my seat because I thought he said Johnny at first.
No, yeah, it was Donnie Blaze.
And then I realized, I'm like, did he say
man.
Johnny Blaze? And Kaylee's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that was really mean. And then they even had him playing with fire too.
Yeah,
But
they
no,
did.
my thinking with so what jurisdiction does the superhuman division have?
They
Because
must
my
be all
first
over
thought
the
was,
place.
well, right. It's like, is this a worldwide jurisdiction thing? Because my first thought was because he's complaining about something that happened elsewhere. It's like, well, how would they have jurisdiction even in the States?
Yeah, so they must. Well, it's New York, isn't it? Still, Donnie Blaze is in New York.
But then there was something else he said about something.
Well,
Oh,
they
because
put
he was talking
somebody in
about the
Panoma.
document signed at Kashmir in Nepal.
Kamartaj.
Kashmir, yeah.
Kamartaj.
So if those are contracts that are verbal contracts that are being agreed to in another country, and now you're bringing them to court in New York,
yeah,
like, I don't know.
I don't know how does this work.
But
I
if
don't
Donnie
know.
Blaze was in New York, no, she's in California. She's not in New York.
She's in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So then,
but I guess Superhuman Division must be federal court, but still,
Maybe?
it's not international. I think it's federal court because I think I read in the comic books that it was federal court, and that's why they're
okay,
able
that
to
makes
use
sense.
comic books as precedent because they follow the comic book authority code, which is
Right.
federal.
Well, that would make sense then. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know. So I know you're not a Sopranos fan, but when I heard that music, I got excited. And then when she started talking about Sopranos, and then she ruined 2 huge scenes in Sopranos, I was dying laughing. And that's why he brought the lawsuit. That was the real, emotional
Yes.
distress that Wong felt.
Well, he's like, you're gonna disrupt the universe. Can we also talk about the fact that how rude was that dude when she was showing the dating apps? People only wanted her in her green form, and the dude they smash, and She-Hulk smashed, and then he sees her in her human form, and then he just wants to leave.
She's
That's so
cute, too.
rude,
I don't
man.
Yeah, I don't
She's not a
know.
bad looking girl. Like, but like maybe people just have that fetish of just being manhandled by She-Hulk. I guess I don't know.
Well, isn't that the whole thing? You want a lady
Can't
in the streets, but a
relate.
freak in the sheets.
Definitely can't
Wongers. My
relate.
mom said Wongers. Yeah, we need the Madison and Wongers Sopranos
They were
rewatch
having a
podcast.
date on the couch at the end. That was cute.
Weren't they
And
watching This Is Us?
they were something. And she sold her soul to the demon or something like that as well. Like,
Yeah, so there is of course a theory. We're back to the Mephisto theories. So she sold her or something
oh
to
god,
a goat named Jake, and
we're back
obviously
to the
goats have
Mephisto.
horns. Mephisto has horns, and yeah, that is my sworn to the dark. Oh, we are. You didn't think of that at any point in time, even when it looked like
I
hell.
didn't think of Mephisto,
Oh,
but we're
how
back to the
could you
Mephisto.
not? For
Oh
100,
god.
I feel like Marvel is gonna troll us on this Mephisto thing for a while, and I don't. I wonder if it was because we all lost our shit in WandaVision. Like, did they intentionally begin to troll us, or was this just like a natural?
There is no, without a doubt,
progression?
they're trolling. That was seen in episode 3 when they put real tweets and stuff about the MCU. That
I
was.
love how self-aware this
I
whole
love
universe
it.
is becoming.
I love meta. The shows just clapping back and talking shit. I am so here for this. Like, tired of taking it. You know what? Screw you. Time to talk some shit, and I am all for it.
Yeah, no, I mean they're doing a great job, and it really is just fun.
It is.
And just all and we're learning all the things that exist in the Marvel universe too. And I love that Tony Soprano exists in the Marvel universe.
Of course.
And the episode she was talking about with Adriana was like, Kaylee's never seen it, and so I'm watching it with Kaylee, who's my 18-year-old daughter. And it's like, I remember watching that episode live, and it was heartbreaking. And then I watched an interview with like the guy who whacks her, and he's like, oh, that was such a hard scene to film too, because he calls her a see you next Tuesday, and it has to be very violent. And she was talking to the feds. She, that's what happenens.
That is true.
So she got whacked, and then at the very end, she spoiled something that happens like at the very end of.
Well, look, it's not a spoiler at this point, because if you haven't watched Sopranos, like, it's been out for a long time and finished. So
I know. It's just one of those shows that like.
Now all bets are off.
Years
if it's
later,
been out for a long time, all bets are off.
Well, I mean, if you watch She-Hulk, it's already spoiled. I don't know why I'm still beating around the bush. And like, I'm worried I'm going to spoil it for somebody.
If you haven't seen it, there's still a lot to fill in. She dies at
100%. But these were two huge deaths that they talked about.
That's fair. I mean,
huge deaths. And Madison even said it. He was like a son to him. And then when they had the movie that came out last year, and you see, a young Tony, and you see baby Christopher, and yeah,
that's fair.
You really should give that show a chance. It's such a good show, and it's on HBO.
I just don't care about mafia stuff.
I find the mafia stuff very interesting. I think because so much of it is based on real stuff. Like the what's the movie where Johnny Depp goes undercover? Like, that's based on a real story. And I read the book, The Way of the Wise Guy, which was the actual guy who Johnny Depp plays. And it's such a childish mentality of taking what's not yours. And it just fascinates me that these are like grown people that like just think that it's okay and validated. And it's just, I don't know. I find it interesting.
That's fair. Well,
find a bad mafia movie. There isn't one. There probably is, but I can't.
I mean, I'm sure there is. I just don't care about the mafia. I don't know.
Well, they're not nice guys. They're wise guys.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else to add to the mix?
To She-Hulk? We did last week. We didn't really talk about it. They did bring in those guys that attacked her. Were not random guys. I don't think they're gone forever. I don't think Titania's gone forever.
Oh, no, that's the Wrecking Crew. They're gone forever. Who do you think?
Yes.
All right.
The bumbling Wrecking Crew.
Hear me out. Kingpin's behind it all.
I mean, yeah, that'd be a good tie-in, and that would make sense why Daredevil would show up and want to team up with her to fight them.
Yeah. Or it's somebody we haven't met yet. Who knows?
I mean, it could be Mephisto.
That's true. Fucking Mephisto!
My brother said family first, Dom.
Exactly. Always.
We don't drink Coronas on this podcast. Get out of here.
Well, if you have nothing else, and I have nothing else, then let's go ahead and wrap this up, put a bow on it, and call it a night. Shall we? So,
Okie dokie.
Thank you for checking in. If you want, follow us at Hops Geek News on all of your social media accounts. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/HopsGeekNews, where you can get early access to episodes. Also, we are going to be getting our MCU rewatch, where we will provide sweet, sweet commentary into your precious ears. And we're going to do our first one tomorrow, Iron Man, and then you get a lot of really cool stuff with it. So go ahead, subscribe to that. Shirts have been shipped to me, so shirts should be here soon. If you ordered one, you will get it very, very soon, and I am so stoked for how they turned out. I can't wait to rock this at the con. Go ahead, subscribe to us, Hops News, on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. And until next week, my fine, fine people, have a good beer, watch some football, watch some She-Hulk, and cheers.